YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy. I'll be back with another video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave me a comment, share the video, all of that. So today, as you see, we are on our way to another show. As you see, the weather out here is beautiful. The sun is beaming. Got some clouds in the sky, but not too much, you know. So with weather like that, there's no better thing to do than to hit a show. All right, so today's going to be a little different. Today, we're not going to do the full overview. Today's going to be a little different because I've been getting some questions about Glocks. Why don't I show enough Glocks? And honestly, I thought I showed a bunch of Glocks, but clearly I don't show enough Glocks. So today we're going to be all about Glocks. So today we're going to do a gun show clearly only about Glocks. So what I plan on doing is I plan on going in there and showing y'all every single Glock I can find and then doing my best to tell y'all the best uses for that particular Glock. So y'all know there's tons of Glocks for all different uses and all different types of people. So that's why we're going to go in there. We're going to show y'all every single Glock and I'm going to try my best to tell y'all what I think is best used for that particular Glock. So let's get in there and get it. So as y'all see, we got a plethora of Glocks here and I got my boy to kind of help us out with this Glock kind of foundation.
How you doing? I'm Nico with Bam Bam Firearms. I'm here to tell you about a few of the Glocks.
Okay, so basically I want to start off from the 22 all the way up to the 10mm and try to find each purpose, particular use for each gun, you know, different caliber for different people, basically.
Well, like I say about most firearms, they're like tools. Every tool's got a reason. You're not going to use a 10mm on a half-inch. You use a half-inch for a half-inch.
Definitely.
So when it comes to my Glocks, man, I've been carrying Glocks for a long time, specifically the Glock 19. The Glock 19, you know, you get your mid-frame. It's going to be a great concealed carry. It's going to be a great open carry. That nice uniform.
So this is what he was talking about, the Glock 19. So what do you think about the Glock 19? Let's get that again.
I like the versatility of the Glock 19. It's right there at the cusp of being basically a combat pistol, but you can still conceal carry it. So I really like the amount of ammunition you get out of it. I like the feel of it. It's just a good all-around mid-sized firearm. Glock 44, which is the 22 version of the Glock 19, which I like to use as a training pistol. So for me, it's a direct replica of the Glock 19. You don't have to use the 9mm, you can use the 22. It still gets you the same muscle memory that you're going to get out of the Glock 19.
That's a really good, so, and with this one, you basically spend a percentage in ammo, right?
Absolutely, and you know, a lot of people like to gripe because it's a 22. They're like, what about the malfunction, you know, the issues with it, you know, while you're using it. I use that as a drill.
Yeah.
When you know, the 22 gives me a stovepipe, I use that as an opportunity because in combat, you might get a stovepipe. You need to know how to manipulate that malfunction. So I use those as malfunction drills if it ever happens.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of the Glock 44. The Glock, being that it's a 22, it's great for training, great for plinking, great for it's all-around versatility. You know?
Would you conceal carry it though?
So, I mean, a lot of people have a problem with concealed carry in the 22. I don't have a problem with concealed carry in the 22. The 22 caliber has just enough velocity to do some damage, and it'll do what you need it to do if you have to use it in a really crummy situation.
Okay, so basically, you would conceal carry it, but it wouldn't be your first option.
It would not be my first option.
Okay.
Yeah.
That being said, let's make our way over to the Glock 43X. What do you think about that one?
So the Glock 43 and the Glock 43X, I'm a big fan of the slim frame Glocks.
This is the 43. This is the 43X.
They made it so it's a little bit longer right here, so you get the extra couple rounds. So I would prefer the Glock 43X for concealed carry.
Okay.
I like that basically strictly for concealed carry. I wouldn't use that as like an open carry combat pistol or anything like that. That's one of those guns you keep and you use in a suit or something. You know?
Okay. And would 9mm be your best option for a concealed carry round?
In my opinion, yeah, I like to use what the government uses because that's going to be the abundance of ammo.
Okay.
So, you know, 9mm is pretty common. And I mean, it's actually cheaper than the 380 at this point. So why not just carry the 9mm?
Okay, and I know a lot of people have an issue with the 43X because it being so snappy.
Yeah,
especially people with bigger hands is going to have a hard time getting a good purchase on these firearms. And with it shooting 9mm and being kind of small, you know, it's not too small, but with it being kind of small, some people might have an issue with it. Have you ever concealed carried a 43 or 43X?
I have concealed carried the 43X. They did make the Glock 48 with that in mind. So this being a little bit longer of a barrel gives you less clip. It's not going to be as snappy as the 43 is.
Okay.
So and all being an extra half-inch on the barrel, you're going to also get a little bit extra accuracy out of it.
Okay, and more velocity, so you're going to get
100%.
You know, a harder punch. Now let's move over to the Glock 47, the G47 right here.
So that's a Gen 5 Glock 47. And this was released to the police department about 3 years ago as the new Glock 17. So the Glock 17 is being replaced with the Glock 47. It is the same gun. The only difference that they did with it is they put this on a Glock 45 frame. So this is a Glock 45 frame, which if you're not familiar with the Glock 45, this is pretty much the new Glock 19. They put the Glock 17 frame on a Glock 19, so you can get the high capacity as a Glock 17, but you still get the snubby of a Glock 19.
Okay.
The Glock 47, they engineered as the new 17. All they did was added that little tiny nub right there to the bottom of the slide. So if you look at a traditional 17, that's a 20. I know we got one around here somewhere. It's a colorful one. Right here. So if you look at the original 17, the Gen 5, that barrel is snub with the frame. So you can't put a 19 frame on this. It wouldn't fit.
Okay.
So they engineered a new frame to the 47. So you could take a Glock 19 slide and slap it on here and make yourself a Glock 45, which is the new Glock 7 or Glock 19.
Okay.
So they're kind of being, Glock is weird with their numbers. They like to mess with all of us. So this is the new Glock 17 released to the civilian market as a duty pistol.
Okay, and what category would you put this in? Would you put this
I
in
would
more
put that
home?
as a duty pistol. Yep, open carry.
Okay, open carry. What about home defense?
Great for home defense. Now
Okay.
again, I like to talk about how many rounds. You know what I mean? When it comes to self-defense, I mean I've been in a few firefights, and 9 times out of 10, it's volume of fire. It's as much round as I can get
That's
down
true.
range as
That's
quickly as
true.
possible, and I want as
17
many as
plus
I
one.
can. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna put those 17 down, and I'm gonna reload and hopefully be in a good place to help myself. So
Okay. Now we went over the 19, went over the 17. We went over the 17, went over the 43X, the 43, the 47. What 9mm are we missing? The 30, 34?
So the 34, yes sir.
Okay.
And I would put that in a competition range gun. So
Okay.
this or duty gun. I mean, that would make a fantastic duty pistol as well. I mean, obviously you get that long distance range application for the 5.3-inch barrel. You get the MOS cutout. The flip of the barrel is going to be a lot better because of the weight that you have up here up front.
So less
you're gonna have
recoil.
it's the same grip module as a Glock 17. So you're going to have the same capacity as your Glock 17. All the mags are interchangeable for the 9mm.
Okay. This one does come optics ready.
Yes, sir.
And this one is going to have the most velocity out of the 9mm just because of the longer barrel.
Yes, sir. The longer the barrel, the better the velocity. It's just the way it works.
Okay. Okay. So that's the Glock 43. Now, what you wouldn't recommend this for a concealed carry, right?
So no, I mean, traditionally, I don't like too much barrel. I mean, I appendix carry, so the less the amount of barrel, the less impedance I have on my body. So for me, I go with the shorter, as short as I can go with the best application. About 4 inches is my limit.
Okay. What about hunting? Would you recommend this for hunting, even with it being a 9mm?
I wouldn't use the 9mm for hunting, but you were talking about the 10mm. The 10mm right here below it, the Glock 20. Is a fantastic firearm. That 10mm's got a very high velocity round, and that'll take down a moose. That'll take down a bear. You can actually use that round to hunt with in the state of Colorado.
Okay.
So you can't hunt with a 9mm. You can defend yourself against a bear with it, but I would much rather a 10mm.
Okay, and like you said, that brought us to the Glock 20, which is a 10mm, which is, you know, is the 10mm. The 10mm is the most powerful round that Glock makes.
Yes, sir.
Production, at least.
So it's the highest velocity pistol, standard pistol caliber as well.
Yeah.
That 10mm, like I said, it's the only caliber that you can use out of a striker fire to hunt with.
Okay, now would you conceal carry this?
I would conceal carry a Glock 20.
A Glock 20, okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, like I said before, the Glock 17 is a little bit big, which is what that is to conceal carry. But I mean, the fact that it's a 10mm, I mean, it kind of trumps that for me. So I'd carry it just because of the fact that it's a 10mm.
Okay, now we got to speak about over penetration with the 10mm. So you got to know what's behind your target. Yeah, and what kind of ammo you're using. So you're using hollow points versus
hollow points are
full metal
ammunition. 1776 ammo makes frangible ammo, which it disintegrates on target, which is great. You know?
There it is.
So I use a lot of 1776 ammo.
Okay, now I don't see the 29 or the 40 here. Do we have those?
We do not have the 40 or the 29.
Okay.
So those are kind of the ones that we don't have today.
Glock 21 would normally come like this. I think I said Glock 20 earlier, but Glock 21 would normally come like this. A chambered M45 ACP, 13+1 capacity. Now, I would like to put this in a concealed carry, at least the Glock 30, because the Glock 30 is the shorter version of the 40. Of the 45. One reason I would put this in a concealed carry category is because the round is going to be bigger, but it's going to be slower too.
Yes,
so
sir.
you won't have a problem with over penetration as much.
Yep.
A 9mm, a 40, and a 10mm is going to all over penetrate more than this.
100%, I agree with that. I mean,
Okay.
so 45 being the slow round, it's gonna over penetration is not going to be as much of a problem for you as long as you understand that if you're going to use it as a self-defense round, that it moves so slow. If you're going to use hollow points in Colorado in the winter, those hollow points like to catch jackets. So if you don't know the type of ammunition you're working with, sometimes you can screw yourself with the hollow points.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point right there. I didn't even think about that.
You got to shoot the critical defense, or you take a crayon and melt it into the hollow point. It works out great.
I didn't even think about that. See, that's, you always learn stuff at the gun show. Like, honestly, I didn't think about that. So the 45 comes in the 21 and the 30.
41.
Oh, I didn't even. 45, the ACP.
300 black.
So is this new?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I didn't even know the Glock had one of these. So this is MOS 41. What's the difference between it? Is it a longer slide?
Pretty much this gun.
Okay, so longer slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this should be a 5.31 barrel versus just a 5-inch barrel.
Yep.
Okay,
So it's a 45 version of the 34, essentially.
Okay, and I think that's all the Glocks that we have over here.
Say that is all that we have.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I'm gonna go try and look for some other Glocks. Maybe someone's that you guys have a whole plethora of Glocks over here, but maybe if I can find a different one and kind of explain that. But I really appreciate your help, bro.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, guys. So one of the ones that I forgot to mention, well, we didn't have over there, was the Glock 19X. And honestly, the Glock 19X would be the one that I would say if you're only gonna grab one, this would definitely be the one to grab. Because basically it's a 19 slide with a 17 lower. Basically that's going to give you a higher round capacity with a shorter slide, so, you know, concealability, but it's not going to sacrifice any round count. So this one does come with, as you can see, 3 17 round mags. But honestly, I like the sights. I mean, you can also change out the sights out, but I prefer the sights that are on the Glock 19X rather than the sights that are on every other Glock. So the Glock 19X, this one won't be hard to find. As you see, the finish is different from a lot of the other ones from factory and the box. You know, you got that FDE type of wheat type of box. All right, guys, we was able to find some Glock 27s, which is going to be the 40 Smith & Wesson. This is going to be the shortest model that you can get in that 40 Smith & Wesson. So basically, if you didn't know about the 40 Smith & Wesson, it's basically a shortened, smaller 10 millimeter. So the reason why they made it 10 millimeter, they made it for the FBI, but the 40 was for the people who shot the 10 millimeter, they couldn't really handle the recoil accurately. That's why they made the 40 Smith & Wesson. So that's the price point. It comes in the box, it comes with, where's the round count? So this one is a Gen 3. This one comes with 2 9-round mags. This one comes with 3 9-round. This one is the Gen 5. This one is the Gen 3. Personally, I would not conceal carry this, but I know a lot of people who would. I mean, as long as you can handle that snappy round in such a small frame, then you'll be fine. But I mean, you have to worry about over penetration with this one too. Not as much as a 10 millimeter, but I mean, it is there. I mean, that's why a lot of people just go down to the 9 if you're gonna, you know, rock with the 40. But some people want that higher velocity, you know, that more quote unquote knockdown power. Okay, and like we was talking over there with my boy, this is the Glock 29, which is the 10 millimeter. This is the shortest one they have. This one comes in a 3 3/4 inch barrel. This one comes with a round count of 3 mags, 3 10-round mags, and it's way thicker than, you know, the 43 or the other Glock. So this is basically going to be the 20, but just shorter. And this is going to be the highest velocity. Well, 10 millimeter is the highest velocity Glock that they make, and this is going to be the shortest one. I would recommend this for like bear country or something. Conceal carry in bear country. I wouldn't conceal carry it because of the over penetration and how snappy this is going to be. So your follow-up shots are just not going to be as quick or not going to be as accurate. But some people will conceal carry this, but you got to really be careful with conceal carrying a 10 millimeter, especially with such a small frame. So that's the Glock 29 and 10 millimeter. Okay, so like we was talking down there, this is the Glock 40, which is a 10 millimeter. This is gonna be the longest slide. This one I wouldn't recommend for concealed carry, but I would recommend from home protection depending on where you live, but definitely for hunting, competition uses. This is gonna give you the most velocity. This is gonna give you the most power. It's gonna have the least amount of muzzle rise because it has more weight. You know, you have a longer barrel than something like this. The heavier the gun, the less the recoil. I know a lot of people, especially that's new to guns, want something small because they think it's gonna recoil less, but it's actually the opposite. So if you want a small, softer shooting gun, you have to get a bigger gun, and that is the Glock 40 chambered in 10 millimeter. And just for size reference, this is the Glock 30. This is what we was talking about over there. This is going to be the 45. This is going to be the smallest version of the 45 that they have, which is also going to be kind of snappy. You are shooting a bigger round, but it's going to be a slower round. So I would recommend this for concealed carry as long as you can handle the recoil. I would recommend this for concealed carry, especially if you're a bigger person or if you're, you know, dressed in winter clothes. You can conceal that really nicely. I don't see the specific round count, but it does come with 3 mags. But you can also use other mags. You can use the Glock 21 mag on this. It's going to be the same thing. So that's the good thing about Glocks. All the magazines are going to be interchangeable for the most part. But yeah, this is the Glock 30 chambered in 45 ACP. So right here we have the Glock 23 that is chambered in the 40 Smith & Wesson. So this is gonna be kind of their mid-size. I'm not 100% sure if they have a long slide 40, but this is gonna be their mid-size. If they have a long slide 40, y'all drop it in the comments. But this is their mid-size 40. Basically the same thing applies. This is gonna give you a little higher velocity because it does have a longer barrel, does have a, you know, longer grip, so you can get a better purchase on it. But like I said, it's gonna be a super snappy round, 10 millimeter. It was basically a neck down, not a neck down. It was basically a shortened 10 millimeter. So it's gonna be less snappy than the 10 millimeter, but a little bit more snappier than the 9. Last but not least, we're gonna round it off with the perfect Glock for the California lawmakers. You know, we gotta have something for everybody. And this right here is the Glock 48, which is gonna be a 9 millimeter. MOS, so it's going to be optics ready. So you know we want them to be safe. So for the lawmakers out there of California, you know they got to have something special that makes them fit in, you know. So that's where we're going to leave it. This is the complete Glock Gun Show overview. And as you see, you could definitely have a plethora of Glocks over here at the Gun Show. So y'all boys, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.
5, 4, 3, 2, I let one go.